Have you ever wondered what makes Social Security so interesting? It isn't only about the figures, and it's not even just about planning strategies. What really stands out is that one of the most significant financial choices you'll ever face doesn't actually feel like a choice at first, until suddenly it does. Around the age of 62, something subtle yet powerful begins to happen. An opportunity quietly appears, and most people fail to realize that stepping into that opportunity too early or delaying it too long can influence the rest of their financial future in ways they never imagined. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Roughly two-thirds of Americans claim Social Security as soon as they become eligible at age 62. Not necessarily because it's the smartest decision, but because it's the most obvious one. It feels accessible, it feels deserved, and it feels like, why wait? But what if this moment, this seemingly simple decision, is actually one of the most misunderstood financial choices you'll ever encounter? It's not because people don't try to make the right call, but because the system itself is complicated. Even professionals don't always agree. Financial advisors may suggest one approach, online discussions often suggest another, and even the Social Security Administration once created a calculator to help guide people through this decision, only to quietly remove it later because it was being used incorrectly. Think about that for a moment. A tool designed to help people navigate a life-changing financial choice became so misunderstood that it had to be taken away. That alone tells you everything. This isn't a simple right or wrong decision. It's a deeply personal one. Today, I want to guide you through it in a different way. Not just with numbers, but with clarity. Not just with theory, but with practical thinking. Because the real question isn't whether you should claim Social Security at 62. The real question is, when does claiming it at 62 actually make sense for you? Consider a different way to think about this. Picture your Social Security benefit as a faucet. Behind that faucet is a pipe you've been filling throughout your entire working life. Every paycheck, every tax contribution adds pressure inside that pipe. Here's how it works. The longer you wait to turn the faucet on, the stronger the flow becomes. If you wait until 70, the stream is powerful. If you turn it on at 62, the flow is lighter. But here's what most people overlook. That faucet belongs to you. You contributed to it. And if you wait too long to turn it on, some of that water never reaches you. It remains in the pipe, unused and gone forever. There are no refunds and no second chances. So the real question becomes, when should you turn the faucet on so you can actually benefit from what you earned? Before diving into the emotional side of this choice, it's important to ground ourselves in something practical: the numbers. Beneath everything lies a mathematical reality that many people oversimplify. Let's imagine someone named Pat. Pat spent a career earning a steady income, around $90,000 in his final working year. Not extremely wealthy, not struggling, just a typical hardworking professional. Now Pat has three options. He can claim Social Security at 62 and receive about $2,238 per month. He can wait until his full retirement age around 67 and receive about $3,198 per month. Or he can delay until 70 and receive roughly $3,966 per month. At first glance, the answer seems obvious. Wait longer and receive more. Simple, but life is rarely that straightforward. The real question isn't just how much you receive each month, it's how much you collect over your entire lifetime, and that's where things begin to shift. Let's explore what's known as a break-even analysis. This is the basic calculation many people rely on. If you claim early, you receive smaller payments over a longer period. If you wait, you receive larger payments over a shorter period. At some point, these two approaches intersect. That intersection, usually somewhere in your early 80s, is where total lifetime benefits equal out. So if you live longer than that point, delaying tends to be more beneficial. If your lifespan is shorter, claiming early can actually result in more money overall. Here's where it becomes interesting. Many people assume life expectancy is around 79, but that figure is based on life expectancy at birth. If you've already reached 62 without major health issues, your expected lifespan is closer to 84 according to estimates. That's a significant difference and changes the math entirely. Returning to Pat, if he claims at 62 and lives until 84, he could collect roughly $615,000 in total benefits. But if he waits until 67, he may actually collect less overall, leaving him about $72,000 behind compared to claiming early. This surprises many people because we're often taught that waiting is always the better option. However, a small shift in assumptions can completely change the outcome. If Pat's life expectancy decreases by just 3 years from 84 to 81, delaying suddenly becomes the better decision. Lower it to 78 and the difference nearly disappears, with the optimal strategy potentially falling somewhere in between, perhaps around age 65. This is the moment where the illusion breaks. You might think this decision is about choosing the best age, but it's really about something far more uncertain, not knowing how long you'll live. No spreadsheet, calculator, or advisor can determine that for you. That uncertainty is the true variable, the core of the entire decision. Now let's introduce something many people overlook: inflation, specifically cost of living adjustments. Each year, Social Security benefits are adjusted to keep up with inflation. Here's where the math becomes quietly powerful. If your monthly benefit is larger because you waited, then your yearly increases will also be larger. It compounds over time. A 3% increase on $3,960 is very different from a 3% increase on $2,238. Over the years, that gap doesn't just widen, it accelerates. When modeled properly, the difference between claiming at 62 and waiting until 70 can reach hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially around $246,000 over a lifetime. That's not a minor detail, it's a life-changing amount. At this point, you might be thinking the answer is obvious: just wait. But it's not that simple. Life isn't lived on spreadsheets, it's lived through experiences, health, relationships, and timing. There are very real and rational situations where claiming Social Security at 62 isn't just acceptable. It's actually the smartest decision you can make. Not emotionally, but logically and strategically. Let's walk through 7 situations where claiming early makes sense. First, your health or family history. If close relatives passed away relatively early, or you've experienced serious health issues, your expected timeline may differ from averages. Most financial advice is based on averages, but your situation may not match them. Waiting for a larger monthly benefit only pays off if you live long enough to receive it. Otherwise, you're leaving value behind. This isn't pessimism, it's realism, and realism allows you to make decisions based on your own life. Second, wanting to enjoy retirement while you're still able. Retirement often unfolds in phases: the active go-go years, the slower slow-go years, and eventually the more limited no-go years. A dollar at 63 isn't the same as a dollar at 83 in terms of life experience. Aligning your finances with the time when you can actually enjoy them can sometimes be the wiser decision. Third, spousal benefits. Social Security decisions often involve both partners. If your spouse has lower earnings or limited work history, they may qualify for spousal benefits, but only after you file. Delaying your claim might mean your spouse receives nothing during that time, which can impact your household's overall financial picture. Fourth, a spouse's serious health condition. If your spouse has a higher benefit but poor health, claiming your own benefit early can provide income now, and later you can switch to survivor benefits. This creates financial support during a challenging period. Fifth, market downturns. If the stock market declines sharply during retirement, relying on Social Security early can reduce the need to sell investments at a loss. It acts as a financial buffer and gives your portfolio time to recover. Sixth, tax strategy. There may be periods when your taxable income is lower, allowing you to receive Social Security with minimal taxes. Claiming earlier during these windows can improve overall tax efficiency. Seventh, simply needing the money. Sometimes life circumstances make the decision for you. Unexpected expenses or financial challenges may require immediate income, and Social Security is designed to provide that support. Consider a real-life example. Sandra is 62 and recently retired. Her husband, 65, has a higher benefit but also a serious health condition. Sandra could wait for a higher monthly payment, but instead she claims at 62. When her husband passes at 69, she transitions to his larger benefit. By claiming early, she collected approximately $176,000 that would otherwise have gone unused. Of course, there are situations where waiting is beneficial, such as having strong health, significant savings, or a spouse with a high benefit. In those cases, delaying can act like a guaranteed return. Ultimately, the question isn't about finding the perfect age, but about choosing what works best for your life right now. This decision depends on your health, family, finances, and priorities. Three practical takeaways can help guide you. First, test different scenarios and see how small changes affect outcomes. Second, think in terms of your household, not just yourself. Third, remain flexible, as circumstances can change over time. Most importantly, remember that this decision isn't just a formula. It's a personal choice shaped by your unique situation, and your life is far more complex than any calculation.